Okay. Hi, guys. I'm trying a slightly different tack here. I am inviting you tonight to tune into our live broadcast at 7, so long as there are no technical difficulties, and they do happen, but that's the plan. And yeah, so YouTube at Yankee T News. And yeah, we'll be having that here. I wonder if there's a way to, I've never really done this. I'm not going to worry about it right now. So just remember youtube.com/at Yankee T News. And we're going to talk about several things. Now, the weird one, I want to introduce the weird one first, is the realization that there's something, we could think about it as a food additive, but yeah, anyway, it's deuterium. Okay, deuterium is heavy water. And normally we associate heavy water with radioactivity and, nuclear rods and, being able to capture neutrons, etc. Well, okay, so heavy water, by definition, you've got two hydrogens and oxygen, but each of those hydrogens has an extra, not an extra, it has a proton. Normal hydrogen, no proton, no neutrons. Deuterium has a neutron, and then tritium has two neutrons. That makes it an unstable isotope. That's another story. Okay, well, it turns out that we have a certain amount of deuterium in our bodies naturally. And just to get to the point, deuterium is not our friend. So I get to talk about that tonight in some detail. The other hot item, which I find curious, is this piece I came across about how young boys are now forming up, are creating AI virtual girlfriends. Now, I could appreciate this, but boy, oh boy, the parents would have to have a conversation about this one. There are so many bad things about this, and it reflects a lot of issues as we find. I don't know. It seems like America in particular is going through this. I'll call it a sexual identity crisis, and it's tied in with growing up and maturation and learning. And yeah, anyway, so I'm going to get into that. The other hot item, I thought this was interesting. There is a company that was going bankrupt. They were getting into trouble. And you want to know how they got out of trouble? They got rid of their human resources department. Now, I've always looked upon human resources as the evil empire. They certainly assume a lot there. And so here we find that by getting rid of them, it saved the company. So we'll get into that little detail. Of course, the other thing that's weighing heavily on everybody is what's happening with Iran. There is so much jockeying going on. It will take me a while just to try and lay it all out, okay? And I'll just mention in passing the latest is that all of a sudden, President Trump, it appears, has decided to, quote, weaponize the Abraham Accords. Who knew? Who knew? Okay? And then the other thing you'll want to get into is what's happening in Ukraine. And it sure looks like something bad is about to happen. Their attack on Moscow last week may result in an outsized response by Russia in a massive strike on Kyiv. So we'll get into that. The other thing that seems to be of some concern, anyway, of concern to me, let's put it that way. Living here in Connecticut, election integrity is much more important than it would appear. People don't think about it much because you don't see the kinds of things going on in Georgia, Arizona, and other places. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And the Democrats have set it up for a big fraud case by having turned absentee ballots into mail-in ballots. But they call them no excuse absentee ballots, but we know now by having no excuses, they're indistinguishable from mail-in ballots. And that's going to set off a whole thing. Now, it's good to know that there are several people in Connecticut who are working hard on dealing with election fraud issues, but it's going to take a lot more. And that's what I get to talk about, among other things. So there'll be that and more. And I encourage you to check us out. Yankee T News. I'm sorry, youtube.com/@Yankee T News. This tonight, Monday, Memorial Day, and we are going to remember at 7 o'clock. Okay, so hopefully you'll be tuning in. Okay.